Hello, is it audible to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, roll number 31 is there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Give the definition of drying.
Drying is defined as the removal of small amount of water or other liquid by the application of heat.
Okay. So what is mean by size reduction?
What, ma'am? Size reduction,
Size reduction definition.
a mixture of various size particles into two more portions.
Okay. Explain the hammer mill.
The hammer mill operates on the principle of impact between rapidly moving hammers mounted on a rotor and the powder material.
Okay. What are the types of corrosion?
General corrosion, general corrosion, structural corrosion, localized corrosion, and fluidized corrosion.
Okay. From this, anyone can you explain it?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Next roll number.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What is mean by mixing?
Mixing is the process that tends to result in randomization of dissimilar within a system.
Okay. Which mixers we have been used?
What, ma'am?
Which mixers we have been used?
Mixtures: double cone blender, twin shell blender, ribbon blender, sigma blender, and planetary mixer.
From this, anyone explain it?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Distillation definition.
Distillation. Separating and purifying components in a liquid mixture.
Okay. Explain the Bernoulli's theorem.
Bernoulli's theorem is state that ideal flow of an incompressible fluid, that total energy per unit mass, which consists of potential energy, kinetic energy, pressure energy at any point of fluid, is constant.
Okay. What is mean by corrosion?
Corrosion is the reaction of a metallic material to its environment.
Okay.
It causes measurable change to material.
Okay. Next roll number.
Yes, madam.
Yes. Okay. What is mean by filtration?
Filtration is a process at which process of passing fluid or gas into instrument of filter
Which mixers we have been used?
with porous mixtures का
Mixer. मिक्सिंग मध्ये आपण कोणते apparatus यूज केले?
मिक्सिंग मध्ये
Okay.
no ma'am.
Size reduction.
Size reduction it is a process in which large particles is converted into small unit mass.
Okay.
Particles.
So, in that size reduction, which mills we have been used?
Impact titration.
Okay. Give the Bernoulli's theorem.
Bernoulli's theorem is Bernoulli's theorem. A fluid in motion in which uh, it is subjected to a several force for which results in the formation of uh, variation, acceleration, and an energy fluid.
Okay. ठीक है, next roll number.
Yes, ma'am.
Give the definition of centrifugation.
Centrifugation. It is unit operation employed for separating constituents. Separating constituent in dispersed medium with centrifugal force.
Okay. What is meant by size separation?
Size separation. It is unit operation process that involves in separating mixture of various size of particles into in two or more portions.
Okay. Explain the Sievers-Shaker machine.
No,
Okay. Then explain the principle. Principle of orifice meter.
orifice method. No, ma'am. Air jet
Okay.
मिक्सरचं कोण एखादा एक्सप्लेन करू का मिक्सरचं
Oh, करा.
Air jet mixer, also called as fluidized mixer. In this principle, it is based on air movement we used, and powders are used in stationary vessels that air is passed in the at base, and then that tumbling action and spiral movement occur. So that spiral movement cause um, separation in that mixture. So mixing is acid.
ठीक है, next roll number.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So give the definition of drying.
Drying is a process, removal of water.
Camera on ठेवा. साक्षी
On its own.
दिसत नाहीये तुमचं camera. आता दिसतो.
Drying is a process, the removal of water from solid particles. From solid particles.
Okay. Define filtration.
Filtration is a process.
Your camera is not
Filtration is a
visible to me.
process, solid liquid. Okay, ma'am. Let's see. Now visible, ma'am?
Yes, now visible.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, continue.
Filtration is a process, solid liquid and a solid liquid separation process in which solid particles from suspension by passing through porous medium that suspension is filtrated allowed to passage through.
Okay. Then give the principle of hammer mill.
Hammer mill. Hammer mill is a principle. It depends on the impactor and impact only.
Okay. Explain the theory behind drying.
Drying theory behind drying.
Theory means ma'am
Hmm?
काय सांगायचं theory
Theory.
means
Construction of drawing curve.
construction of drawing curve. No ma'am.
Okay. Corrosion definition.
Yes ma'am. Corrosion. Corrosion it is a process decomposition or destruction of a metal in presence of environmental in presence of environmental through chemical reactions.
Okay. ठीक है. 35.
35 च ma'am.
हाँ, अच्छा. 36. Okay, she is not there. Roll number 35.
Yes ma'am.
तुमच्याकडे नंबर आहे का 36 चा?
Yes ma'am आहे की.
ठीक आहे, त्यांना जॉईन करायला सांगा आता. नेक्स्ट
ठीक आहे.
जोपर्यंत द्यावा हेवा झाला. 37 नंबर.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Give me the definition of mixing.
Mixing is the defined as the process that tends to result in tends to randomization of the dissimilar particle with a system.
Okay. Explain any one centrifuge in detail.
Centrifuge. Perforated.
हा ठीक आहे, सांगा.
Filter lip सांग का मॅम? Sorry. Perforated basket सांग का मॅम?
हा.
A principle, a perforated basket centrifuge is the filter. The basic contain a perforated sidewall construction. It is the consist of a basket made of the steel or a copper or any other suitable metal.
Okay. What are the types of manometer?
Manometers are the three types: simple manometer, differential manometer, and the inclined manometer.
Okay. What are the types of corrosion?
No ma'am.
Explain the ferrous metals.
No ma'am.
ठीक है, next roll number.
Yes ma'am.
38.
Yes ma'am.
Okay. Give me the definition of size reduction.
Size reduction is the process operation that involve the separation of various mixture into various small particles.
Okay. In that size reduction, which means we have been used of
Impact and attrition.
Okay. Then give the principle of orifice meter.
Orifice meter का?
हाँ.
It is a thin plate that contain the narrow shape apertures. एवढंच.
Okay. Define corrosion.
Corrosion is the process, the reaction between metallic material and environment. That reaction by this reaction, the major changes to material.
Okay, what is mean by radiation?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Bernoulli's theorem.
नाही येत ना.
ठीक आहे, next roll number.
मॅम रोल नंबर 36 कॉल नाही रिसीव्ह करत.
ठीक आहे, चालतं. Next 39.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Give me the definition of corrosion.
Corrosion is the determination of material by chemical interaction with their environment.
Okay, what are the types of corrosion?
Corrosion, biological, structural, localized, and general. Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Wait for 1 minute. Okay, Payal,
Yes, ma'am.
give me the definition of filtration.
Filtration, ma'am. Filtration is a process that separate solid particle from a liquid or gas by passing the mixing through a filter.
Okay, which filters we have been studied?
Filter
कोणते
cartilage
filters
filter.
आपण study केलेले आहे?
Cartilage filter.
Explain cartridge filter.
Cartilage filter principle. It is a thin process membrane in which per filter and membrane filter are combined in a single unit. The filter acting in mainly like particle and rotated on the surface. Construction सांगू का ma'am?
हा सांगा.
It has cylindrical configuration made with dispensable or changeable or filter medium. It is made up of either plastic or metal. Metal consists of two membrane filter.
ठीक आहे, next roll number.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What is mean by drying?
The process in which water is removed with the help of evaporation from solid or semi-solid. surface.
Okay. In that drying, which dryers we are used?
Drum dryer, spray dryer, vacuum dryer.
Okay, explain from that anyone.
No, ma'am.
Okay, give me the principle of hammer mill.
Principle. No.
Define distillation.
Distillation is the process in which water is heated and we get it in the form of evaporation.
Okay. Then what do you mean by corrosion?
It is a naturally process. Refined metals are converted into a more chemically form.
Okay. Then what are the types of corrosion?
Uniform and uniform आणि uniformच माहिती आहे मॅडम.
Okay, define centrifugation.
Centrifugation, it is a process separation of material of different quantities with the help of spinning or axis.
Okay. So which centrifuges we have been used? Centrifuge type of
No, ma'am.
ओके तुम्ही कुठल्या सब्जेक्ट कुठल्या पॉइंटचा स्टडी केलेला आहे?
Definitions केले.
ओके. साइज सेपरेशनची डेफिनेशन सांगा मला.
Separation of a mixture into two or more forms.
ओके ठीक आहे. लेफ्ट झाले तरी चालेल का सगळ्यांनी? ओके रोल नंबर 41.
Yes, madam.
41. Okay. Give me the definition of mixing. Please keep your camera on, all of you, when you are giving Viva.
Mixing change to randomization the in the similar particle within a substance.
Similar particles, that is similar particles.
Dissimilar particle, madam.
Okay. So which mixtures we have been studied?
Corrosion, madam. Corrosion.
Define size reduction.
Side reduction. Side reduction. Conversion. Conversion of large solid to small solid unit mass.
Okay. In that size reduction, which mills we have been used?
Side rate. No, ma'am.
Give me the principle of hammer mill.
Principle of hammer mill. Hammer mill operate on principle of impact between a rapidly moving hammer mounted on rotor and the powder material.
Okay. Then explain the Bernoulli's theorem.
Bernoulli's theorem.
Statement सांगा Bernoulli's theorem चा काय आहे?
When the principle of conservation of energy is applied to the flow of fluid,
Okay.
then resulting in equation is called Bernoulli's theorem, madam.
Give the definition of corrosion.
Corrosion is defined as a of material with environment with
Okay.
results in a functional failure of material.
ठीक है, next roll number.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Define centrifugation.
Centrifugation is a process used to separate or concentrated material suspended in a liquid medium.
Okay. Give the definition of evaporation.
Evaporation. No, ma'am.
Evaporation ची definition माहित नाहीये तुम्हाला? Okay. Give the definition of size reduction. Okay, types of manometer. मॅनोमीटरचे टाइप.
No.
Okay, which part you have studied?
Dryers.
Okay. हा.
Tray
ड्रायर
dryers.
मध्ये काय केलं तुम्ही? कोणता स्टडी केलेला आहे?
Tray dryers सांगू ना?
हा ठीक आहे सांगा.
Tray dryers are also called as shelf or cabinet and compartment dryers. Tray dryers is a static bed batch type dryer where forced convection heating takes place. Convection heating takes place by the continuous flow of hot air.
ओके. corrosionची डेफिनेशन सांगा.
Corrosion the reaction of a metallic materials with its and can result in a functional failure of a metallic components.
ओके. ठीक आहे, नेक्स्ट रोल नंबर.
Yes, ma'am.
ओके. रोल नंबर 41. रोहित निसाळ.
Yes, madam.
Okay, call to roll number 44.
Yes, madam. Korto call.
Say that join for the Viva.
Yes, madam.
ठीक आहे. 43 number.
Yes, madam.
Okay, give the definition of size separation.
Size separation.
You don't
size
know?
separation- Okay, madam. Size separation is process in which solid particle to separate into two or more particles.
Okay. What is mean by size reduction?
Size reduction is conversion of large solid into the small solid.
Okay. Then give the definition of evaporation.
Evaporation is defined as large solid and liquid. Large liquid, sorry madam, get evaporated
Okay.
from gas.
Which evaporators we have been studied?
No, ma'am.
Evaporator कोणते कोणते स्टडी केले होते आपण? आठवत नाही का एक पण evaporator?
Evaporated.
Climbing film, falling film, forced circulation. Okay, which part you have studied?
Corrosion.
Okay, tell me the definition of corrosion.
Definition corrosion. Corrosion is defined as reaction is metal is with environment with result in function failure in a material.
Okay. Then explain in brief non-metals, inorganic.
Non-metal. Glass. organic metal. No, madam.
Okay. What are the types of corrosion?
Types of corrosion, pure corrosion general, pure corrosion localized, structural and biological.
Okay. ठीक है. Next roll number. Okay, roll number 44 is there. Pradeep Shinde. Pradeep Shinde. आहे ना तुम्ही प्रदीप शिंदे? Okay. Keep your camera on.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, keep your camera on. Okay. Give the definition of drying.
Yes, ma'am.
Definition of drying.
Drawing.
You are not visible to me. Pradeep Shinde.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me the definition of drying. Okay, which part you have studied? कोणता part तुम्ही study केलेला आहे? शिंदे. You have to keep your camera on. Otherwise, you will get lose marks. Huh? Pradeep Shinde. Are you hear me? Give the definition of drying. Definition सांगा drying ची. कोणत्याची डेफिनेशन आहे ते सांगा मला तुम्हाला. कोणता पार्ट तुम्ही स्टडी केलेला आहे? प्रदीप शिंदे. मी 0 मार्क देणार आहे तुम्ही जर काही बोलला नाही तर. प्रदीप शिंदे. This is your end semester viva. Pradeep Shinde. Keep your camera on.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Definition सांगा मला drawing ची.
Drawing ची का?
हाँ.
Yes, ma'am.
प्रदीप. सगळ्यांना हॉलमध्ये द्यायचे आहे बाकीच्यांना. सगळे वेटिंगला आहेत. तुम्ही कोणता पार्ट स्टडी केला तुम्हाला सांगा लवकर. चला. शिंदे. कॅमेरा ऑन ठेवा तुमचा. शिंदे. तुम्हाला मार्क्स नको मिळवायचे का 0 मार्क द्यायचे तुम्हाला? शिंदे. प्रदीप शिंदे. तुम्हाला कोणी द्यायची नाहीये का?
Hello, ma'am.
डेफिनेशन सांगा ना मग मला.
Drying is defined as the remove of small amount of water or other liquid from a material by the application of heat,
Okay.
drying and evaporation air. एवढेच ma'am.
हा सांगा. ड्रायर्स कोणते कोणते बघितले होते आपण ड्रायर्स?
हा
ड्रायर्स कोणते स्टडी केले होते आपण?
डायर्स का
हा तिकडे नाही येत. पलीकडे नाही येत का? जेवायला गेले असते मॅडम. कॅरेट नाही येत. नाही कॅरेट.
drum dryers, rotatory dryers and dryer dryers. Hello ma'am.
हा सांगा. ओके, अजून कोणत्या पार्टचा स्टडी केला तुम्ही दुसरा? बर्नौलीज थेरमचं स्टेटमेंट केलंय का ते सांगा मला.
काय मॅम?
बर्नौलीज थेरम.
बर्नौलीज थेरम का?
हा
थेरम
लवकर सांगा प्रदीप, सगळे थांबलेत वैवासाठी.
conservation energy at one point.
ओके, दुसरा कोणता तुम्ही टॉपिक स्टडी केलेला आहे?
Potential energy, kinetic energy.
काय होतं त्याच्यामध्ये? पोटेन्शियल एनर्जी, कायनेटिक एनर्जीचं बर्नौलीज थेरम मध्ये? करोजनची डेफिनेशन येते का? करोजन.
Corrosion का?
कीप युअर कॅमेरा ऑन प्रदीप. ठीक आहे, नेक्स्ट रोल नंबर 45.
Yes, ma'am.
जगताप.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, give the definition of corrosion.
Corrosion is defined as the reaction of a metallic material with environment which results in functional failure of material is
Give the
known as
definition of
corrosion.
Evaporation.
Evaporation, the process of removal of solvent from the solution by boiling the liquid is suitable vessel and withdrawing the vapor. Is called as evaporation.
Which evaporators we have been studied? कोणते evaporators आपण स्टडी केले होते?
Multiple effective of evaporator and rising film evaporator.
Okay, from these two, explain any one evaporator.
No, ma'am.
Okay, hammer mill explain करा.
Hammer mill is essential a steel drum containing a vertical or horizontal rotating drum on which hammers are mounted.
Okay, Give the definition of centrifugation.
Centrifugation is defined as unit operation employed in dispersion material with aid of centrifugal force.
ठीक आहे. Next roll number 46. त्यांचं झालंय वायवा त्यांनी लेफ्ट झाले तरी चालेल आता. त्यांनी कोणी ओबीटी सॉल्व केली नसेल ओबीटी सेकंड त्यांनी मला 5 वाजेपर्यंत सेंड करा जे कोण राहिलेत ते. ठीक आहे कदम keep your camera on.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Give the definition of size reduction.
A process of reducing large solid unit, large solid vegetables or chemical substances into small unit masses.
Okay. In that size reduction, which meals we have been used of?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Which dryers we have used of?
Drum dryer, stray dryer,
Then explain kara drum dryer.
is a roller dryer.
What?
Hollow metal ना मॅडम हिट करायचं.
Give the definition of corrosion.
सोल्युशन मध्ये डिप करायचं.
कोणत्या पार्टची स्टडी केलेला आहे तुम्ही मग?
Evaporation hammer mill, ma'am.
Evaporation सांगा मग मला.
The process of removal of from the solution by boiling the liquid suitable vessel and withdrawing its vapor a concentrated product.
Okay. Which evaporators we have been studied?
Hammer mill.
Evaporators आपण कोणती स्टडी केलेले आहेत?
डिफाईनच केली मॅडम.
ओके. डिस्टिलेशनची डेफिनेशन सांगा मग.
The action of purifying a liquid by a process of heating and cooling.
Define black body.
Black body, the body which emits maximum possible amount of energy.
What is meant by conduction?
Conduction, the process by which heat or electricity passes through a material.
Explain ferrous metals.
No, madam.
Okay. ठीक है. Next roll number.
Yes, ma'am.
My voice is clearly audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So give the definition of mixing.
Mixing is defined as it is the process that tends to result in randomization of dissimilar particles within a system.
Okay. Which mixers we have been studied?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Give definition of size reduction.
Size reduction is the process of reducing large solid unit masses. It reducing large solid unit masses.
Okay. Explain any one meal.
Which mill I have to explain, ma'am?
From your choice. You can explain anyone.
Can I explain hammer mill, ma'am?
Principle, construction, and working you have to explain.
Okay, ma'am. Hammer mill is operates on the principle of impact between rapidly moving hammers mounted on a rotor and the powder material, and its construction hammer the horizontal of the vertical shaft type. It is usually made up of hardened steel, stainless steel, and resistant material such as hastelite and carbon. Stainless steel hammers are sufficient for pharmaceutical purposes, and two basic shapes are a stirrup and a bar. Then working hammer mills are allowed to be a continuous motion in between 8,000 to 15,000 RPM. That means rotation per minute. The feed material is placed into the hopper, which flows vertically down and then horizontally while hammers are in continuous motion. Then the particles passes through the screen, and due to the tangential use, it exists. The size of the particles is considerably smaller than the aperture of the screen.
Okay. What are the types of corrosion?
Types of corrosion. First one is general fluid corrosion. In that, it consists of physiochemical corrosion, then electrochemical corrosion. Second one is localized fluid corrosion. In that, first type is specific site corrosion. Again, second type is stress induced corrosion. Then liquid flow related corrosion. Fourth one is chemical reaction related corrosion, and third one is fluid corrosion structural.
Okay. ठीक है. Next roll number. Yes, ma'am. Keep your camera on. Okay. Give the definition of drying.
Drying is defined as
Yes.
no, ma'am.
Give the definition of drying. You don't know?
No.
Give the definition of size separation.
Site separation. Site separation is defined as conversion of large solid particles into small particles.
This is the definition of what? Size reduction. Okay, explain hammer mill.
Hammer mill is hammer mill is a mill whose purpose is to crush aggregate material into smaller particles by the repeated bowls of little hammers.
Okay. Explain the ferrous metals.
Non-ferrous metals.
Ferrous. बघून सांगताय का तुम्ही? Rachna, I will give you 0 mark. Huh? Tell me the definition of centrifugation. What is mean by centrifugation? Evaporation definition. Conduction.
The method of forming liquid into gas evaporation. The method of forming liquid the method of forming liquid into gas by acting heat to the liquid.
What is mean by mixing? ठीक है, next roll number.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Use the definition of evaporation.
Evaporation is defined as a vaporizing large quantities of liquid will get concentrate of product.
Okay. Which evaporators we have been used on? Or we have been studied? Evaporators कोणते स्टडी केले होते आपण?
No,
You don't know?
no, ma'am.
Okay, give the definition of radiation. Radiation.
No, ma'am.
Drying.
Drying removes small amount of water from liquid material by application of heat.
Okay, which dryers we have been studied?
Filtration सांगू का?
हाँ सांगा.
Filtration, surface filtration and deep filtration सांग.
हाँ सांगा.
Surface filtration as a equipment is expensive and deep filtration is equipment is cheaper. Surface filtration is more predictable. Deep filtration is less predictable. Surface filtration mechanical strength is higher. Deep filtration is a mechanical strength is lower.
ठीक है, next roll number.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Give the definition of corrosion.
Corrosion is defined as a process of decomposition or destruction of metallic material in presence of environment through chemical reaction.
Okay, give the definition of evaporation.
Evaporation. Evaporation is a process of vaporizing larger quantities of liquid to get a concentrated product.
Which evaporators we have been studied?
What, ma'am?
Which evaporators
No,
we have studied? No?
No.
Okay. What are the types of corrosion?
Corrosion defined का ma'am?
हाँ.
आता तर सांगितलं की corrosion is defined as process of decomposition or destruction of metallic material in presence of environment chemical reaction. Corrosion is a natural process.
Okay. So what is meant by mixing?
Mixing is a process in which two or more components within a system converted into mass or mixture.
Okay. Then what are the types of manometer?
Manometer is used to measure pressure difference, and type is simple manometer or differential manometer.
Okay. Define radiation.
Radiation is this radiation means spread from central location or origin.
No, that's not the definition.
Radiation, this involves transfer of heat by means electromagnetic waves through space.
ओके ठीक आहे. लेफ्ट झालं तरी चालेल आता.
Thank you.
$51 is not there. Who is 51 number?
Sandesh Hembadi.
Ma'am, 50.
Okay. Why he is not joining? Tell
आणि
your
मॅम
friend.
ती शंकरशन डोक्याच्या मोबाईलवर
Yes, काय
हॅलो
म्हणता
मॅम
तुम्ही? Yes.
ती शंकरशन डोक्याच्या मोबाईलवर ती 56 जॉईन करा तिथं नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लेम आहे 56 ला मॅम.
कोण आहे 56 नंबर?
प्रतीक पवार आहे ती शंकरशन डोक्याच्या मोबाईलवर जॉईन करते मॅम.
ठीक आहे ठीक आहे. अजून रिक्वेस्ट आली नाही मला इथं. $51 number. Who is 51?
Sandesh Hembadi.
हा कॉल करून सांगा त्यांना जॉईन व्हायला.
Okay, ma'am. ठीक आहे.
हा.
मॅडम ती रिमूव्ह म्हणते त्या ह्याला तुम्ही रिमूव्ह केले त्यातनं.
मगाशी मी रिमूव्ह केलं होतं.
हा मग त्यातनं जॉईन करते मॅम.
ठीक आहे आता जॉईन होतं का नाही काही माहित नाही मग मला आता. अजून एकदा रिक्वेस्ट पाठवायला सांगा त्यांना.
ओके मॅम.
ठीक आहे 52 नंबर आहेत का? 52 number. उभा आहे. आदित्य उभा आहे.
हॅलो मॅम संदेशला सांगितलं त्यांनी जॉईन करतोय 51 रोल नंबर.
तोपर्यंत तुम्ही इथे आहे बघा.
ओके मॅम ठीक आहे. येस मॅम.
हा ठीक आहे. Give the definition of drying.
Drying. Drying is the process of removing the presence of solvents, example that is water or other liquids in a formulation with the presence of heat.
Okay. Which dryers we have been studied?
Tray dryer, rotary dryer, drum dryer, and vacuum dryer.
Okay. Explain any one dryer.
Ma'am, fluidized bed dryer सांगू दे.
हो सांगा.
In fluidized bed dryer, hot air gas is passed through a perforated bottom of the container containing the wet solids at high pressure in upward direction. The velocity of air gas is greater than setting rate of particles. This causes the particles to blow up and become suspended in air gas steam. At this stage, solid bed looks like the boiling point and hence called as fluidized. The hot air gas surrounds each fluidized particle. Heat transfer is accomplished by direct contact between wet solid and hot air gases. The vaporized liquid is carried away by drying air or gases.
Okay. Give the definition of size reduction. Size reduction.
Size reduction is a process of reducing large solid unit masses, chemical substances into small unit masses, coarse particles or fine particles.
ठीक है. Next roll number 51 राहिले. 51.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
51 number.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Give the definition of mixing. "51 number, you are not visible to me." All of you, keep in mind that when you are giving viva, your camera must be on. So give the definition of mixing. Are you not? Give the definition of mixing.
No, ma'am.
Definition of drying. Don't keep your camera off. Keep your camera on. Otherwise, I will give you 0 marks. Give the definition of drying. Simple definition is there. You have attended our lectures. Okay. Give the definition of size reduction. Size reduction ची definition सांगा मला. बघून सांगताय का? Definition सांगा पटकन लवकर ड्राइंग ची. ओके, कोणत्या पार्टचा तुम्ही स्टडी केलेला आहे? तुम्ही फिल्ट्रेशन वाचलंय का सेंट्रिफिकेशन स्टडी केलंय, ड्राइंग केलंय का मिक्सिंग केलंय ते मला सांगा, म्हणजे त्याच्यावर क्वेश्चन विचारते मी तुम्हाला. रेडिएशनची डेफिनेशन सांगा, सिंपल आहे रेडिएशन डेफिनेशन. एमडे, यू हॅव नॉट स्टडीड प्रॉपरली. पुढच्या सेमिस्टरला एक्झाम ऑफलाईन होणार आहे. ऑनलाईन एक्झाम पॅटर्न बंद होईल आता. काही स्टडी करत नाही तुम्ही, आपला सिलेबस संपून किती दिवस झाले? मॅनोमीटरचे टाइप सांगा मला. मॅनोमीटरचे टाइप. Why you are not studied properly? मी शिकवलेलं समजलं नाही का तुम्हाला? Tell me the definition of drawing. What is that definition? Hemde? Okay, what is meant by corrosion? फिल्ट्रेशनची डेफिनेशन सांगा मला. फिल्ट्रेशन सिंपल डेफिनेशन आहे. प्रॅक्टिकल परफॉर्म केलं ना तुम्ही? तुम्हाला जे येते ते सांगा मला, ठीक आहे. कोणता पार्ट तुम्ही स्टडी केलाय तो मला सांगा लवकर. बाकीचे सगळे थांबलेत व्हायवासाठी. हेमडे, झिरो मार्क देऊ का तुम्हाला? काहीच बोलणार नसेल तुम्ही तर. कोणता पार्ट स्टडी केलाय तो मला सांगा आता. Which part you have studied? लवकर सांगा, बाकीचे थांबलेत. सगळ्या सिंपल डेफिनेशन आहे, तुम्हाला एक पण डेफिनेशन आठवत नाही. तुम्ही लेक्चर सगळे अटेंड केलेत ना?
हो.
मग डेफिनेशन काय येत नाही तुम्हाला? ड्रॉइंगची सिंपल डेफिनेशन आहे. सांगते का नेक्स्ट रोल नंबर घेऊन मी? तुम्हाला जे येते ते सांगा मला 5 मिनिटात. संदेश सांगा लवकर चला. तुम्हाला जे येते ते सांगा लवकर, चला बाकीचे थांबलेत ना व्हायला. कोणती डेफिनेशन येते तुम्हाला सांगा. ड्रायिंग येते, मिक्सिंग येते का फिल्ट्रेशन का सेंट्रिफ्युगेशन डेफिनेशन येते? काही स्टडी केलं नाहीये का तुम्ही? ठीक आहे, मला फक्त ड्रायिंगची डेफिनेशन सांगा, लवकर सांगा. बी फास्ट. हेमडे का सांगत नाही तुम्ही डेफिनेशन ड्रायिंगची? नेक्स्ट रोल नंबर घेऊ का मी? तुम्हाला काय येते ते पण सांगत नाही तुम्ही. झिरो मार्क देऊ का मी व्हायवाला? आता तुम्हाला काहीच बोललं नाही तुम्ही व्हायवाला. आता सिरियसनेस काय आहे की नाही तुम्हाला सेकंड एक्झामचा? का ऑनलाईन आहे म्हणून सगळं असं चालायचं? ठीक आहे, नेक्स्ट रोल नंबर चला, कोण आहे?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, give me the definition of mixing.
The process the two
Keep
or
your
more
camera on.
components in the separate condition are mixed together.
Okay, which mixers we have been used?
Blender,
कोणता ब्लेंडर?
dryers.
मागच्या वेळेस पण तुम्ही ड्रायरच सांगितलं होतं का? कर्व तुमची डेफिनेशन सांगा मला.
Corrosion is the reaction of metallic material results to the non-functional of metallic components.
Okay, what are the types of corrosion?
No, ma'am.
Give me the definition of size reduction.
Size
reduction.
Process of reducing the large solid masses unit to fine particles.
ओके, त्याच्यामध्ये कोणता मिल यूज करतो आपण?
Fluidized mill, नंतर
नेक्स्ट कुठली आहे मिल? एक्सप्लेन हॅमर मिल. हॅमर मिल, बॉल मिल एक्सप्लेन करा. Which part you have studied?
dryer.
ते सोडून दुसरा कुठला पार्ट स्टडी केलाय तो सांगा मला. एक्झाम मध्ये फक्त ड्रायरच येणार आहे का तुम्हाला? दुसरा पार्ट येणार आहे ना एक्झाम मध्ये? मग स्टडी केलं नाहीये का तुम्ही? सेंट्रिफ्युगेशनची डेफिनेशन सांगा मला. सेंट्रिफ्युगेशनची डेफिनेशन सांगा. Okay, give the definition of
Pro-
radiation.
process used to separate the concentration of material in the liquid medium.
Radiation definition सांगा.
Heat transfer.
What radiation definition?
Transfer of heat.
त्याच्या पुढे काय आहे? फक्त हीट ट्रान्सफर होते का रेडिएशन मध्ये? कंडक्शनची डेफिनेशन सांगा मला. हा ड्रायर कोणता स्टडी केलाय तर सांगा मला चला.
ड्रायर.
एक्सप्लेन करा चला.
In dryer, the hot air is continuously circulated. The circulator air is convection heating takes place to remove the moisture from the solid place in the tray. The moist air is removed. It consists of rectangular chamber whose walls are insulated. Tray are placed inside the heating chamber. Working wet solid is loaded into tray. Tray are placed in the chamber.
ठीक आहे. नेक्स्ट रोल नंबर.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Give the definition of filtration.
Filtration is defined as the process of separation of solid from fluid by passing the same through a porous medium that retain the solid but allow to fluid to pass.
Keep your camera on. 54 number.
On आहे का madam camera.
Which filters you have studied?
Filtration.
तुमचा कॅमेरा तुम्ही ऑफ करताय का परत?
नाही मॅडम ऑन की.
ठीक आहे. फिल्टर सांगा मला कोणते स्टडी केले आहेत ते.
नो मॅडम.
ड्रायर तर सगळ्यांनाच येतात. सगळ्यांनी ड्रायरच केले. डेफिनेशन सांगा. कंडक्शनची डेफिनेशन सांगा.
ड्रायर
बी फास्ट. तुम्ही कॅमेरा ऑफ का करते सारखंच?
नाही मॅडम
बघू सांगते का?
नाही.
ठीक आहे. मला डेफिनेशन सांगा कंडक्शनची.
कंडक्शन heat can flow
तुम्ही दिसत नाही मला. कॅमेरा ऑफ करायचा नाही आन्सर सांगताना अजिबात. नाहीतर मी सगळ्यांना 0 मार्क देणार आहे आता.
heat can flow there heat can flow there flow
वैष्णवी मी 0 मार्क
is a
देणार आहे
temperature. मॅडम कॅमेरा चालू आहे की माझा.
मला इथे ऑफ का दिसतो तुम्ही आन्सर सांगताना मग?
Heat can flow there any
साइज रिडक्शनची डेफिनेशन सांगा मला.
size reduction
बी फास्ट. तुम्ही कोणता स्टडी केलाय तो सांगा मला चला. हे बघा मी तुमच्या समोर झिरो
madam,
बघा तुम्हाला.
size reduction is the process of reducing large solid unit masses into a small unit
कॅमेरा ऑन ठेवा तुमचा.
masses.
कॅमेरा ऑन ठेवा आणि ड्रायर एक्सप्लेन करा एखादा.
Dryer. मॅडम बर्नॉलिस थेरम सांगू का?
हा सांगा. बर्नॉलिस थेरम मी काय विचारलं होतं, ड्रायर विचारलं होतं ना तुम्हाला.
हा
ड्रायर केलं नाहीत का?
मॅडम
बघून सांगताय तुम्ही नोटबुक मधलं. मला
नाही
सगळं
मॅडम.
कळतं इथून. कोण कोण बघून सांगते, कोण नाही बघून सांगत. सांगा मला पटकन ड्रायर. वैष्णवी सांगा लवकर. बाकीच्यांना वाहिवासाठी थांबले, बाकीचे सगळे वेटिंगला आहेत.
Yes, madam. Drying is defined as the removal of a small amount of water or other liquid from material by application of heat. And dryer कोणता पण एक एक्सप्लेन करू का मॅडम?
हो करा एक्सप्लेन, चला लवकर.
मॅडम फ्लुइडाइज्ड बेड ड्रायर करू?
हा सांगा चला लवकर.
Fluidized bed dryer, hot air gas is passed at high pressure through perforated bottom of the continuous connecting granules to be dried, and granules are lifted from bottom and suspended in a stream of air. This condition is called a fluidized state. Is surrounding every granule to completely dry them, and this material or granules are uniformly dried. Hello, madam.
नेक्स्ट रोल नंबर
Yes, ma'am.
55. Be fast.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Swapnali, tell me the definition of centrifugation.
Is a unit of separation employed from separation the construction present in dispersion with the aid of centrifugal force.
एक सेंट्रीफ्यूज एक्सप्लेन करा चला.
No, ma'am.
ओके, रेडिएशनची डेफिनेशन सांगा मला.
Radiation, transfer of heat,
काय सांगितली डेफिनेशन सांगा पटकन. रेडिएशनची डेफिनेशन.
transfer of heat,
What is meant by size reduction?
is a process of reducing large solid unit mass of small unit masses.
Okay. In that size reduction, we have seen the hammer mill, ball mill, edge runner mill, end runner mill. From anyone explain. Explain करा.
the hammer mill is essentially a steel drum continue of vertical or horizontal rotating shifter or a drum on which mounted the hammer mill casting on the end of the cross freely fixed to the central rotor. The rotor rotates at a high speed. It's a high speed inside the drum. Will material is a need feed into a feed hopper. Hammer milk can be used as a principal. Sorry, no, ma'am.
ठीक आहे ऍप्लिकेशन सांगा सेंट्रिफ्युगेशनचे.
Central applications.
ठीक आहे नेक्स्ट रोल नंबर. नेक्स्ट रोल नंबर ज्यांचं झाले त्यांनी लेफ्ट झालं तरी चालेल आता. $56 पवार
मॅडम
56 नंबर इथे
चालू होणार त्याचा मॅडम
चालू होत नाही. कसं काय चालू होत नाही? सगळ्यांचं चालू होतंय. $56 नंबर
मेसेज केला मॅडम त्याने चालू होणार म्हणते.
लेफ्ट होऊन परत जॉईन व्हायला सांगा त्यांना.
ओके मॅम.
तोपर्यंत तुम्ही वाय मध्ये 57 नंबर.
येस मॅम.
Give the definition of filtration.
Filtration is defined as the process of separation of solid liquid with a porous method medium.
Okay. Explain any one filter in detail.
Filter in detail. Example ma'am सांगू.
काय अभ्यास केला नाहीये का तुम्ही? इव्हॅपोरेटर सांगा. एखादा एक्सप्लेन करा इव्हॅपोरेटर.
Multiple evaporator.
हा सांगा.
Multiple evaporator use a water vapor from one effect as the fitting medium for the next effect, which the operate of lower boiling point is known as a multiple effector operator.
Corrosion definition सांगा.
Corrosion is defined as reaction of metallic material within wall which causes function failure of material.
ठीक है. नेक्स्ट रोल नंबर. नेक्स्ट रोल नंबर 56. Okay, 56 number. Give the definition of centrifugation. Centrifugation definition.
Yes. Centrifugation is defined as the separation of particle with the help of centrifugal force.
Explain anyone's centrifuge in detail. What?
When is ultracentrifugation?
Sanga.
When extremely defined solid matter which separated from liquid. Example, in collider research.
Define black body.
Ultracentrifugal. Black body defined as the body with maximum amount of energy.
अजून काय होतं maximum amount of energy?
Units.
Through the space by means of electromagnetic waves. Okay, give the definition of mixing.
Mixing is defined as the process of randomization of dissimilar particle within 6.
Okay, which mixtures we have been studied?
Double clone blender, planetary mixture.
ठीक है, next roll number.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what is mean by corrosion?
Corrosion is the reaction between the metallic material with its environment, which causes the metallic material changes its properties.
Okay. Give the definition of centrifugation.
Centrifugation, the process in which separation of material present in a dispersion with the aid of centrifugal force.
Okay. What are the types of corrosion?
Corrosion, first is fluid corrosion general, then fluid corrosion localized, fluid corrosion structural.
Explain hammer mill.
Hammer mill, it is the type of size reduction in which it acts on the principle of impact. The particle size is reduced due to the hammers by the impact principle. When feed material is taken on the hopper, the hammer reduces its size.
ठीक है, next roll number 59. Be fast. Okay. Give me the definition of filtration.
Filtration is a process of separation of solid from the fluid by the same through the porous material and through the porous material, and a solid is present.
Okay. Give the definition of size separation.
Separation. Size separation. The process in which a large mass solid unit reduced into the small mass solid unit.
Okay. What is mean by radiation?
Radiation is the energy transfer process, the heat transfer to the space of the electromagnetic wave.
Okay. Explain orifice meter.
Orifice meter, in which a thin plate is used and narrow iteration used, in which liquid is allowed to transfer liquid through the narrow region. The velocity of liquid in a orifice meter is increased than velocity present in upward stream.
Okay. ठीक है, next roll number.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Give the definition of size reduction.
Size reduction is a process of reducing large solid unit masses into small unit masses.
Okay. Evaporation.
In evaporation, liquid is converted into gases.
Which evaporators we have studied?
No, ma'am.
Which part you have studied?
What, ma'am?
Which part you have studied?
Drying, mixing, filtration.
Okay, mixing मतलब mixer explain करा.
What, ma'am?
Mixing आहे त्यामधला एक mixer. त्यामधला एक mixer explain करा.
Planetary mixture. In planetary mixture, blade tears mass part and shear is applied in between moving blade and stationary wall. Mixing arms is move on in two ways around its own axis and around its central axis, so that each it reaches into spot of vessel.
Okay, ठीक आहे. Left झालं तर चालेल तुम्ही.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, roll number 61 is there. Is there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All of you, please take note that when you are giving Viva, your camera must be on. Okay, roll number 61. Give me the definition of drying.
Drying is defined as removal of small amount of water water or liquid present in solid.
Okay. Define centrifugation.
Centrifugation, it is defined as separation of particle with centrifugal force.
Okay. Explain anyone centrifuge in detail.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Filtration. Centrifuge filter.
Explain anyone centrifuge.
No, ma'am.
Okay, you are not studied.
Filtration.
Filter. Explain करा. Filter करा.
Centrifuge. It consists of porous thin membrane. It in this membrane pre-filter and membrane filter in a single this filter function like a sieving. The solids are retained in the porous medium. It is a rectangular in a shape. It consists of porous medium, and it filter fluid and the solid deposited on the membrane and fluid is passed through the filter.
ठीक है, next roll number.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay. Give me the definition of mixing.
Mixing is defined as the process that tends to result in randomization of dissimilar particles within a system.
Okay. Give me the definition of evaporation.
Evaporation is defined as the vaporization of liquid from a solid material.
Okay. Explain anyone evaporator.
Evaporator. No, ma'am. I can't study. Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. हॅलो मॅम, तुमचा आवाज येत नाही.
Harshali Dige.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Filter explain करते का?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Plate
and frame filter. Plate and filter is based on the mechanism of surface filtration. In that, first slurry is enters on the frame by applying pressure. Then it is flow through a porous medium, and then porous medium, and then slurry. Then it is then the substance is placed in a plate.
Okay. What is mean by size reduction?
Size reduction is the reduction of large solid unit masses into small unit masses.
Explain hammer mill.
Hammer mill work on the principle of impact between the rapidly moving hammers.
Okay. What is mean by radiation?
Radiation is the heat transfer process in which heat is transferred through space by means of electromagnetic wave.
Okay. Explain the principle of orifice meter.
Orifice meter principle, no ma'am.
Okay. What are the types of manometer?
Manometers, there are three main types of manometers: simple manometer, differential manometer, and inclined manometer.
Okay. Next roll number.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Okay. Give me the definition of filtration.
Filtration is a unit operation in which the solid particles are removed from the liquid by passing them through a porous membrane.
Okay. Can you explain any one filter?
Yes, ma'am. Can I explain Sazet's filter?
Yes.
It works. Basic principle. It works on the asbestos pad filter. It consists of two parts. The lower part consists of porous membrane, above which the asbestos pad is placed, and above it has a wall which is used for building up the pressure. And as the main advantage of this asbestos filter is that there is no no contamination takes place in it, and it's one of the disadvantages is that sometimes it absorbs the medicaments.
Okay. What is meant by conduction?
Conduction is a process of heat transfer in which the atoms or molecules are transferred.
Okay. Can you explain orifice meter?
Orifice meter works on the orifice meter means a thin plate containing a sharp aperture. It is usually used for measuring the rate of flow of fluid.
What is meant by corrosion?
Corrosion means the metal object comes in when react with its environmental condition, it starts to degrade. This process is known as corrosion.
Okay. He can next roll number.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell me the definition of size reduction.
Size reduction in which large unit masses are converted into small unit masses.
Okay. Explain any one mill, hammer mill or ball mill.
Hammer mill. Hammer mill operate on the principle of impact. Hammer are moving mounted on a material.
Okay. So what are the types of corrosion? Corrosion types.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Which part you have studied?
Filter function.
कोणता filter?
Filter.
हाँ सांगा.
Filter is based on the asbestos pad filter. It consists of two parts. Lower part is fitted with a perforated plate, which compress the asbestos pad in place. Upper part is pressure on applied. These two parts are joined together with the help of finger nut. Asbestos pad is may yield alkali, which cause the precipitation of alkali. Precipitation of alkali.
ठीक है, next roll number. $65.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, keep your camera on. ज्यांचं झालं त्यांनी लेफ्ट झालं तरी चालेल आता. Okay. What is mean by radiation?
Kai, ma'am?
Radiation.
Radiation. No, ma'am.
We don't know. Give me the definition of size reduction.
Size reduction. Size reduction is the process of reducing large solid particles into a small unit masses.
Okay. What is mean by filtration?
Filtration is a process of separation of solid from fluid by passing the same through a porous media.
Okay, can you explain any one filter?
Filter, drum filter.
हाँ, ठीक है.
Principle rotatory drum filter functions on the principle of filtering function. Principle of filtration. It addition of the compression, drying, removing of filter aids, filter cake. Construction, it consists of the rotatory drum filter is a consist of the
ठीक है, next roll number.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Give me the definition of size separation.
Size separation, it is a unit of operation separation of a mixture in various type of particle.
Okay. Then what is mean by radiation?
Don't know, ma'am.
Convection.
Don't know.
So which part you have studied?
Ma'am, explain drum dryer.
Dryer सोडून मला दुसरं सांगा.
Ma'am, I can define Bernoulli's theorem.
Okay.
In Bernoulli's theorem, conservation of energy is applied to flow of fluid, and then total energy is equal to kinetic energy plus pressure energy plus potential energy, and then application of Bernoulli's theorem is used to measurement of flow of fluid, and second application is used to measure the height and applied to the energy term.
Okay. What are the types of manometer?
There are manometer is used to measure the pressure difference, and there are three types: simple manometer, inclined manometer, and differential manometer.
Okay, explain the principle of venturimeter.
Venturimeter. Venturimeter, it is a thin plate containing sharp and narrow apertures, and it is usually used to measure the flow of fluid.
Okay.
Sorry ma'am, हे orifice meterचं होतं. Then venturimeter मध्ये it consists of two section of pipelines, and it gradually construction of its in center.
Can you explain anyone evaporator?
No ma'am.
Okay. Then hammer mill.
Drum dryer ma'am.
सगळ्यांनी ड्रायरच केलेले आहेत. Flat body definition.
No ma'am.
ठीक है.
Filtration.
Next roll number.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell me the definition of radiation.
Radiation is the process of heat transfer in which heat is transferred by a space by means electromagnetic waves.
Okay. What is meant by size separation?
Size separation is a process in which separation of materials from a fluid, or separation of materials of desired size, particles of desired size.
Okay. Define centrifugation.
Centrifugation is the process in which centrifugal force is used as a driving force for phase separation.
Okay. Define evaporation.
Evaporation is a process in which liquid water is converted into a vapor by increasing pressure.
Okay. Can you explain anyone evaporator?
No ma'am, hammer mill करू का?
हाँ सांगा.
Hammer mill works on the principle of impact, and hammer mill consists of a central shaft, and shaft is having a vertical or horizontal, and on shaft there are four or more than four hammers are attached, and on the bottom screen it consists of screen which having perforated holes. Then working, the material is fed through the hopper, and then materials come, and there are moving. There are hammers having in motion, and it is revolve around 8,000 to 15,000 revolution per minute. Then material are strike on the hammer and reduces into the smaller size, and it is then passed through the screen and collected.
ठीक है. Next roll number.
Yes, ma'am.
Be fast. Okay. What is meant by mixing?
Okay, ma'am.
Mixing.
Mixing is the process in which tends to randomization of dissimilar particle within a system.
Okay. Can you explain anyone mixer in detail?
Double cone blender.
Yes.
Double cone blender. It is usually charged and discharged pass through the same part, and efficient design for material for the mixing powders. Powders different densities, and the rate of the rotation is optimum depending on the size of the tumbler, and it's having a speed of 30 to 100 revolution per minute, and the advantages they having a handled large capacities, and it is easy to clean, load and unload, and disadvantages, and required a high for installation, and it is not suitable for fine solid particles.
Okay, give the definition of radiation.
Radiation is the transfer of energy. Radiation is the process in which transfer of energy by space by through space by means of
कॅमेरा
a
नीट व्यवस्थित करा तुमचा.
electromagnetic wave. काय ma'am?
कॅमेरा नीट व्यवस्थित करासारखा कॅमेरा.
Radiation is the energy transfer space by electromagnetic waves.
Okay. Evaporation definition सांगा.
Evaporation is defined as the vaporizing larger quantities of liquid to get a concentrated product.
Distillation.
Distillation is the process in which separating and purifying the constituent in a liquid mixture.
ठीक है, next number.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Give me the definition of drying.
It is a removal of small amount of moisture from a substance by application of liquid.
Okay. Give me the definition of centrifugation.
The process of separation of particles by using a centrifugation force.
Okay. What is mean by corrosion?
Reaction of metallic compound which causes changes and functional degradation of the product due to environment.
Give me the definition. Definition of conduction.
Transfer of heat from higher concentration to lower concentration within the solid.
Okay. Can you explain any one evaporator?
Ma'am, can I explain steam distillation? Simple distillation.
Okay. Explain it.
Simple distillation is used to purify and to separate the liquid having a boiling point difference approximately about 25 degrees Celsius. For a distillation, we add a liquid in a round flask, and we also add a thermometer to check the temperature of a round flask. Then at a vapor outlet, we connect a condenser, and the receiver is also placed. At initial stage, we provide heat to the round flask, and liquid having a low boiling point get vaporized first, and then it goes to receiver through passing through a condenser. So application, it is used for water for injection, distilled water, volatile water.
ठीक है. Next roll number.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Give me the definition of conduction.
Conduction is a process of heat transfer throughout the matter.
Okay. What is mean by mixing?
Mixing is the process that tends to randomization of dissimilar particles within the system.
Okay. Can you explain any one mixer in detail?
Yes, ma'am. Double clone bender.
Okay. Explain it.
Usually it is charged or discharged throughout the same part. It having sufficient design for the drying of the powders of different density. Rate of the rotation depends upon the size and shape of the tumbler, and also the nature of the particle to be dyed. It having the rate 3 to 100 RPM. Then double clone bender used advantages of double clone bender. It is easy to clean, easy to load and upload, and disadvantages, it is not suitable for fine particles.
Okay. Give me the definition of corrosion.
Corrosion is defined as the reaction of the metallic material with its environment which causes measurable changes to the metallic material.
Okay. Can you tell me the principle of orifice meter?
Mensurometer आणि हे केले Bernoulli's theorem.
सांगा.
Bernoulli's theorem. When the principle of conservation of energy is applied to the flow of fluid, the resulting equation is called as Bernoulli's theorem.
Okay. And mensurometer?
Quencher meter, it consists of two sections in the pipeline with gradual construction at its center. Now, when the flow of fluid is allowed to pass through the narrow throat, then there is increasing the velocity of the flow of fluid. Then there is decreasing the pressure. This decrease the pressure is measured by the manometer.
Okay, ठीक है. Next roll number.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what is meant by evaporation?
Evaporation is defined as the process by which a liquid water present by which liquid water directly goes into evaporation phase due to increase in the temperature.
Okay, explain any one evaporator in detail.
मॅम मिक्सिंग मधलं केलं डबल कोन ब्लेंडर.
Second double cone blender, dryer. दूसरा काय एक्सप्लेन करता का? फिल्टर. कोणता फिल्टर एखादा एक्सप्लेन करा.
मॅम सुपर सेंट्रीफ्यूज चे यूज सांगू.
हा सांगा.
Super centrifuge used to separate immiscible liquids.
Okay. Give the mechanism of mixing.
Mixing is the process in which two or more substance within a system are converted into one mixture.
Okay. Give me the definition of corrosion.
Corrosion is the process of a decomposition of a metallic in a pressure of an environment through the chemical reaction.
ठीक है. Next roll number.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell me the definition of distillation.
It is a process of separating and purifying. It is a process of separating and purifying the liquid.
Okay, can we explain anyone? Distillation apparatus. Simple distillation, steam distillation.
No, ma'am. Centrifuge केलंय.
Centrifuge कोणता केलाय?
Non-perforated basket centrifuge.
सांगा.
Non-perforated basket centrifuge is a sedimentation centrifuge. In this, separation is depend on the difference in densities of solid and liquid. In this, bowl contains the non-perforated sidewall construction. It contains a basket which is made up from the steel or any other suitable metal metal. In this, it is driven by the motor by using the suitable power system. Working the suspension fed continuously into the basket. The solid is returned to the side of the basket. The liquid is removed by using the tube, and when suitable depth of solid is deposited, then the process will stop.
Okay. What is meant by size reduction?
Size reduction is a process of reducing the larger solid masses into the small solid unit masses.
Okay, define black body.
No, ma'am.
ठीक है. Next roll number.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What is meant by evaporation?
Evaporation is the process in which removal of solvent from the mixture by applying by applying vapor.
Okay, can we explain anyone evaporator?
No, ma'am. Can I explain a non-perforated basket centrifuge?
Yes, explain.
Yes, ma'am. Principle of non-perforated basket centrifuge is it is based on the separation of material of two different densities. Then its construction, it consists of the metal cylinder which is made up of steel or any other suitable material. in which basket is suspended in a vertical shaft and driven by the motor by applying the energy. Working of the non-perforated basket. This suspension is fed continuously into the basket during the centrifugation. Solid mass is placed on the side of the basket, and the liquid is removed. When suitable depth of a solid has been deposited on the walls, the basket operation has been stopped, and it is used when require high energy. It is used.
Okay. What are the types of corrosion?
Types of corrosion. General corrosion, localized corrosion, structural corrosion, and biological corrosions.
Okay. What is mean by convection?
This is the mechanism of mixing in which particles are move upward.
ठीक है. Next roll number.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell me the definition of mixing.
Mixing is the process of two or more substances mixed together to form to get one form.
Okay. Can you explain anyone evaporator?
No, ma'am. I can explain a hammer mill.
Explain it.
Hammer mill, it works on the principle of impact construction. It consists of shaft having a vertical and horizontal type. Hammer mill is also made up of stainless steel. Hammers are also made up of stainless steel. Blade of hammers contain metal shaft, consist of screen and receiver to the collect material. Consist of screen and receiver to collect material. Working, it material introduced into a hopper, it breaks to small piece. Hammer mill are continuously rotated. The material collected into screen, and in this mill, screen are interchangeable. Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Okay. Tell me the definition of centrifugation.
काय madam?
Centrifugation definition.
Centrifugation in which centrifugal force are applied. Centrifugation, it is a process in which centrifugation used for the separation of product.
Okay, can we explain anyone centrifuge in detail?
No, ma'am. Tray dryer explain.
Dryer मागच्या वेळेस पण तुम्ही ट्रे ड्रायर केलता का एक्सप्लेन?
नाही, दुसरा केलेला.
ड्रायरच येणार आहेत का एक्झामला? फक्त तुम्हाला दुसरा काही येणार नाही का एक्झामला? फेरस मेटल सांगा मला.
आवाज येत नाही मॅडम.
फेरस मेटल स्टडी केलेले आहेत.
कोणता?
फेरस मेटल्स.
Ferrous metals. No, ma'am.
Okay. Give the mechanism of mixing.
Application सांगू?
Mixing चे mechanism विचारलेत ना मी तुम्हाला.
No, ma'am.
ठीक है, नेक्स्ट रोल नंबर.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell me the definition of centrifugation.
Centrifugation is a unit operation employed for separating the constituent present in a dispersion with the aid of centrifugal force.
Okay. Can you explain anyone centrifuge in detail?
No, ma'am. Can I explain flash distillation?
Yes. Explain it.
Flash distillation defines a process in which the entire liquid mixture is suddenly vaporized by passing feed from a high pressure zone to a lower pressure zone known as equilibrium distillation. Principle: when a hot liquid mixture allowed to enter from a high pressure zone into low pressure zone, the entire liquid mixture is suddenly vaporized. This process is known as flash vaporization. During this process, chamber gets cooled. Construction: it consists of a pump which connected to feed reservoir. Pump helps in pumping the feed. Heating chamber which contains suitable heating mechanism. The other end of pipe is directly one second, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. The individual vapor phase molecules of high boiling fraction get condensed, while low boiling fraction remains as vapor. Liquid friction is cooled separately from the liquid and allowed the condensate.
ठीक है. What are the types of manometer?
There are three types of manometer. First is simple manometer, second is differential manometer, third is inclined manometer.
ठीक है, next roll number.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me the definition of evaporation.
Evaporation, it is the process of vaporizing a large quantity of liquid to get concentrated product.
Okay. Can we explain anyone evaporator in detail?
Evaporating pan सांगू का ma'am?
हाँ, सांगा.
Principle: steam is supplied to a jacketed kettle in which aqueous extract is placed. Steam gives out heat to the kettle. The heat transferred to aqueous extract by convection and conduction. Construction: inner pan called as a kettle, outer evaporated pan called jacket. The two pans are joined to enclose a space through which steam is passed. Kettle is made up of metal sheet. Copper is excluded material for kettle because it is good conductivity. For acidic material, tinned copper is used. Iron is also used for kettle. Working, it is aqueous extract placed in a kettle. Steam is supplied through inlet. Steam gives out its heat to connect and condensate leaves through outlet. Rate of evaporation is fast in the initial stage and decrease gradually as the liquid gets concentrated.
ठीक है. Can you tell me the types of corrosion?
काय ma'am?
Types of corrosion.
Sorry ma'am, नाही येत.
Okay. Corrosion definition.
Corrosion, it is the metallic reaction. It is when reaction of metallic with the environment which causes a measurable change in change to material.
Okay. ठीक है, next roll number.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me the definition of filtration.
Filtration is the process of the separation of solid particle to form liquid by using porous media.
Okay. Can you explain any centrifuge in detail?
No, ma'am. Steam distillation explain.
Yes, explain it.
Steam distillation is the method of distillation carried with the aid of steam. Principle is the a mixture immiscible liquid beginning the boiling when the sum of vapor pressure is equal to atmospheric pressure. Ma'am, construction it consists of a steam can, and the steam can is involve two holes. One holes is instated is a safety tube, and second hole is instated is a vent tube. And get a round next instrument used a round bottom flask, and next also a round bottom flask also two holes, one holes enter the vent tube, and next holes is enter the delivery tube. And then next part of the next part of the process is the condenser. Condenser is a help of the vapors convert the liquid. And last part of the receiver conical flask.
Okay. What do you mean by size reduction?
Size reduction is the process by the size reduction is the process in which the separation of the big size of particle separate the small size of the particle.
ठीक आहे. लेफ्ट झालं तरी चालेल आता.
Thank you, ma'am.